Hi. Everybody get a chance. Hi. Hi, Shabbat Shalom. Everybody get a chance to peruse 1 John chapter 3. Okay. If we don't I can't see 3 on a donkey anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
Is that something you posted, bro?
Yeah. But 1 John chapter 3, we're going to look at verses 1 through 8 specifically. There's not a handout for it because we don't have the time to go through this many pages. I'm going to give you an extreme Cliff Notes version, and even at that, I mean, you can see there's a lot to understand. We cannot understand Yochanan, John, from a Greco-Roman point of view in our own language. If we don't look at it from the language that it was intended to be written in and the mindset that it was intended to be written in, we're going to continue to follow on down a road of doctrine that would not make sense to Yahusha, much less to Paul or any of his apostles, or disciples. So, 1 John chapter 3. Very important little piece. Considering what we talked about in Shoftim, and everybody kind of remember last week's Torah portion a little bit, the 2 trees, 2 points of view. Okay? All right? Which one do we follow? What actually brings us closer to our Elohim? That's what this is about. Okay? I'm going to read it straight from King Jimmy. Okay? Because this is what the most English translations are going to look like. Okay? Now, fortunately, this is a restored name, King Jimmy, so we still have a corrupted text, but at least the name's right. There we go. Say, behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of Elohim. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. Now here comes the confusing one. Beloved, now are we sons of Elohim, and it doth not yet appear that we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Ooh, ah. And every man hath his hope in him, purifies himself, even as he is pure. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth. Well, your tongue gets all messed up. Transgresses also the law, for the sin is transgression of the law. So, okay, so we have now, we can imagine what we're thinking if we were. And you know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him there is no sin. Whosoever abides in him sins not. Whosoever sins has not seen him, neither known him. Very important little verse. Okay, so we'll take a look at that one again in a minute. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that does righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that commits sin is of the devil. It's the water boy's mother. It's of the devil. Have you ever seen that movie? Okay. For the devil sins from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of Elohim was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Okay. If you read that in that context, with the words that are used in this context, if I read to you, beloved, now we are the sons of Elohim, and it does not yet appear that we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. What comes to mind? I'm going to see Elohim, right? It says right here, I'm going to see him. A lot of people believe that this is what it's going to be. Okay? We have to take this and understand what it says. We have to be very clear. So let's break this down into itty-bitty, teeny-tiny little microscopic subatomic pieces. All right? First of all, we have 3:1. Behold, what manner of love the Father has... let's read it what we like to call the right way. So we'll put King Jimmy over here. And we'll put a version that's a little bit closer to the Hebrew. Okay? See what love the Father has given us, that we should be called children of Elohim. For this reason the world does not know us, because it did not know him. Can I relate that to anything? Let's consider a very well-known verse in John 3:16. It says, For Elohim loved the world in such a way that he gave his only brought forth Son, not his only begotten Son, his only brought forth restoration is basically what this verse would say, that whoever believes should not perish but possess everlasting life. For Elohim did not send his restoration into the world to judge the world, but that the world through it might be restored. Okay? If we look at it from the words that it actually says, okay, that Yahusha was the son of Elohim, and people look at me like I'm growing a second head when I say this, that Yahusha was the son of Elohim is no big deal. Okay? Oh, that's blasphemy. We are all children of Elohim. He was the only one that was perfect for the task. Therefore, he was also the only one that carried the name of the Father for the task. And he was also the only one that was full of the favor and the truth of the Father to bring the task forward. What was the task? Okay? We compare this also to Bereshit 1:1 because we can take it all the way back. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What does that mean? We've talked about this in the past. That Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim va'et haaretz becomes a huge statement that the presence of the tabernacle would have the authority, according to the truth, power, and the ability of the Father, carrying his name to restore a covenant as the vehicle of sacrifice, to restore the heavens back to the earth. Okay? So, when we look at 3:1, let's look at it from the Hebrew. Okay? That we should be called the children of Elohim. Okay. Again, we're all children of Elohim. Atheists are children of Elohim. We just finished 9/11. I'm going to get in terrible trouble for this. The people that flew the airplanes into the World Trade Center were children of Elohim. They're created of Elohim. Okay? There's a difference between being B'nai HaElohim and being Bana HaElohim. Because now we have a root of B'nai, which is Bana. That means what? Those who are restored and established in Elohim. Now, if I look at it from this point of view now, see what love the Father has given us, that we should be called the restored and established in Elohim. For this reason the world does not know us, because it did not know him. Okay. So we can look at this from this very topical point of view. The world, we should avoid the world. We should be in the world, but have no part of the world. And I always ask, what in the world does that mean? Okay? Because there's a lot of stuff in the world that I enjoy doing. And I bet you there's a lot of stuff in the world that you enjoy doing. What is it about this world thing? Okay? Why does the world not know us? Because it didn't know him. Who is the world has to be a question. There are several words in Hebrew for world. The word that is used here is a word that can mean world, but really doesn't really mean world. The word that's used in the Hebrew of this is olam. Olam. Okay? Now, olam can mean world, but the word for world, the main word for world that we find is the word tebel. Tebel means world. Okay? Let's look at olam, and then we'll come back to tebel. Olam. Olam as a word means everlasting. So, don't be part of the everlasting. That doesn't make any sense. Don't be part of the infinite. The everlasting doesn't know Elohim. Let's take that again. The everlasting doesn't know Yahuwah Elohim. Does that statement even grossly possibly make sense? If Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah as a name means every aspect of everything that's ever existed today, yesterday, and tomorrow, then to say that we should not be part of something that is everlasting, or that something doesn't know restoration because it's part of something everlasting, doesn't make sense. So let's consider the root of olam. Olam comes from a root, alam. Alam. Alam, as a root, means a vanishing point. It means something that is out of mind, something that's not thought about. It also means something that is blind, as well as something that is not seen. So, if I say the world does not know him, is it possible that something that is at a vanishing point, something that is blind, something that is not seen or even considered, something that is not thought about, doesn't know him? We'll ask who is him in just a second, because we have to ask who him is. Okay, we say, oh, it's Yahusha, or, oh, it's Elohim. So let's consider that in just a second. The word tebel, on the other hand, which is not used here, is a word that comes from the root yabal, that means to be led and to be carried. It is not something that is led by Elohim and carried by Elohim, that knows Elohim. It is something that is blind and basically out of the mind of Elohim, that does not know Elohim. Does that make sense? There's a difference between something that doesn't exist. Why does it not exist? Something that is vanishing, something that is going to disappear. Because it is something that is out of the presence of Elohim. Okay? It's compared to tebel, something that is in the presence of Elohim and carried. With that in mind, why does the world not know him? It says, lo yara. Okay? Lo yara. Does not yara. Okay? We'll come back to yara in a minute. Him. Who is him? Does the world not know Elohim? Because this is what he's talking about. That we're the children of Elohim. Or we can say that we are restored and established in Elohim. So is it possible that it's talking about Elohim? How do I know who Elohim is? Well, I know who Elohim is by and through Yasha. By and through Yahusha. Who is Yahusha? The word of Elohim. But he's also the redemption, deliverance, and restoration of Yahuwah. Those that are vanishing, those who are about to cease in their existence, those who are not in the presence of Elohim, that he does not see them or hear them, are not there because they do not know him. They do not know the word. They do not know the redemption, deliverance, and restoration that comes by and through the word. Okay? Does not know Yahuwah. If I say him is Yahuwah Elohim, then they are not familiar with the redemption, deliverance, and restoration in every aspect of their life at every moment that it is there. Why? Because it's not something that is real. The mindset of John is not a mindset of deifying something and then saying he's going to appear to us just like Zeus would appear to us, or Athena would appear to us, or Mercury, or I'm going to be whisked up to, Olympus, where I'm going to see the gods. Okay, it's a Greco-Roman mindset. Uses the word appear as opposed to the word that's actually used, and we'll talk about that word in just a second. What is it talking about to this point? It's talking about becoming aware of your relationship with your Elohim so that you may be restored and established in him. And because you are aware of your Elohim and you have a desire to be restored and established in Elohim by and through his word, because you know him, that those who are not restored and established in Elohim, those who are not aware of Elohim, and by proxy Elohim is not aware of them, don't know who you are. Because they don't want to know who you are. Everybody is very widely accepted, and everybody's very happy to meet you and know you when you tell them how you worship. And is that, no, they don't want to have anything to do with you as far as religion goes. You're not, I'm not knocking it. You get this war between denominations. I get a kick out of it. The guy that preached at one of the churches that I teach at, I won't name any names, they were all excited to see him, but he's the one that told one of the pastors that I was helping out not to let me teach anything because I may be teaching heresies. Why? Because they didn't match that particular denomination's protocols. Okay? The world doesn't know me. The world doesn't know you. Those who don't have an established relationship with Yahuwah Elohim, aside from religion, okay? There's a difference between having religion and having a denomination and having a relationship. This is something that Yahusha understood intimately. Why could Yahusha do all the wonderful things that he did? Because he had absolutely no doubt about the presence of Elohim. And when he said, Lazarus, come forth. That's about as big as it gets. What did Lazarus do? Laid there in the tomb and everybody laughed at him and it was over and... Oh, wait. No. That's that other storybook. What happened? Lazarus comes out because Yahusha believed that he would. Had no doubt. Goes to the little girl and everybody's sad and crying. The father's paid a lot of money to have all these professional mourners because that's what you do, is you pay people to come and cry when someone dies. Back then, it's custom back then. No, it was actually a custom. Wealthy people would pay other people to come into their house and cry and mourn and be sad. So here's this little girl, and Yahusha tells them, get out. She's asleep. And they all laugh at him. But here's the really interesting part, that he makes a statement. He says, little girl, rise to my talit. Literally, rise to my zitzit. And what happens? The little girl wakes up. She says, I'm hungry. Yahusha says, take her and feed her. Okay? Why did he say, rise to my talit? Rise to my zitzit? Because he had total and complete confidence in the word of Elohim to bring restoration to the dead. Why does the world not know us? Because something that's already dead cannot recognize something that is living. And a living Elohim will not recognize something that does not want to be in a relationship with him. Advice that I give kids. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to be your friend. Stay away from them. Elohim takes that advice. Actually, maybe Elohim gives that advice. And he sticks to his own advice. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to know me. I'm not going to get to know them. Why did the children of Israel suffer in Egypt for 400 years? They didn't call upon Yahuwah Elohim. It says in the Torah, it says, finally, they called upon the name, and then he heard them. And then, what happened? He took action. Hey, you're calling me. Okay? So, does not know Yahuwah. Thus, it is not seen by Yahuwah as it does not see Yahuwah. It is alam, blind and not seen, instead of being Yabel, led and carried by Elohim. Thus, by proxy, it does not comprehend those who are restored and established in Elohim. I say I have a relationship with my Elohim. People look at me like I've lost my mind. Because you're only supposed to do that church stuff for a few hours a week, and the rest of the time you live your life. Because church and God and the Bible and all that stuff only exist for 1 or 2 hours on Sunday and Wednesday if you get there, or you know what I'm saying? Do I have a relationship with my Elohim? That is the number one thing. What was Yahusha and the apostles trying to teach? That Elohim is present. Build a relationship with him. They never intended to teach that you have to believe in this deity, and this deity is going to come and be with you, and all this other stuff. Is Yahuwah Elohim going to come and be with me? He's already here. I don't have to wait until some future event when I'm dead with some hope of going to some place called heaven. I'm already in his presence. I can die and remain in his presence. Or I can ignore his presence now and I can die, and, well, it won't really matter because I will cease to exist. Okay? So now let's get into the good stuff. Verse 2. Verse 2 is where the confusion begins. It begins with beloved ones. And it literally says beloved ones. It says Yadodi, those who are beloved. Why am I beloved of Elohim? Because I'm restored and established in him. Because I cling to him by and through his word. I rise to his talit. I have risen out of death, and now I'm sent to be fed. Okay? Beloved ones, now we are children of Elohim. As if we weren't children of Elohim before. Now we are children of Elohim. And it has not yet been revealed what we shall be, but we know that when he is revealed, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. It's a little bit different than what King Jimmy read. Okay, let's recall what King Jimmy had to say here. Because King Jimmy makes it out that we're nuts. We have no idea where we're supposed to be. What does it say? Beloved, now we're sons of Elohim, and it does not yet appear that we shall be. I'm a son of Elohim, but I may not be a son of Elohim. Okay, but we know that when he will appear, we'll be like him, for we shall be seen, or we will see him, and all this stuff. So let's look at it again. Beloved ones, now we are Bana HaElohim. Now we are restored and established in Elohim. What do we do now? And it has not yet been revealed what we shall be. Okay, so let's take that phrase first. Let's start with a word that we should consider, aside from Yedodi. Okay, yes, if I have a relationship with my Elohim, I am his beloved. But let's look at the word now. Now says what? Now we are restored and established in Elohim. Now comes from the word ata, that means at this time. At this time we are restored and established in Elohim. At what time? Okay? Well, the root of this is at. At. It's somewhere around here. Well, I kind of missed a step. At. Okay? At is the root of at. Okay, so we have this root, at. Okay? At means time. What time? What time? What do we see in this word if we are aware of what individual letters mean? Anybody have an idea of what we see in this word? Ayin means what? To perceive. Tav. What does tav mean? Paleo-Hebrew marker is, I don't know how to write, so this is what I'm going to do when I'm signing the covenant. Now, at this time, what time? When I perceive my covenant relationship with my Elohim. Okay? Let's take a look at another root of this, which is ad. Ad. Ad means forever, eternal. Comes from the root ada, that means to pass on, to continue, to advance. When you read the Shema in Hebrew, Shema Yisrael Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. The ayin in Shema and the dalet in Echad are enlarged, bringing ad. That if at this time I am perceiving the covenant and I understand my part in the relationship, how can I understand it? I must be willing to, another meaning of ad, be a testament of my relationship with my Elohim. How do I do that? By reciting the Shema. Yahushua was asked, what's the most important commandment? So Yahushua makes a statement. He says, Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Blessed be his name. Well, that gets into the other part. But, Shema, do I perceive, discern, and understand Yisrael when I am under the authority of Elohim, Yahuwah Eloheinu? That in every aspect of my life, at every moment that I'm alive, am I aware of his presence, his mighty power, his ability to redeem me, deliver me, restore me, heal me, and bring me rest within my life? And most importantly, Yahuwah Echad. That if Yahuwah is one, Echad means also to be in agreement with and to be in unity with, has a numerical value of 13. The 13th letter of the Aleph Beit Mem that represents what? Water. What does water represent? The word of Elohim. If he is echad, if he is in agreement with his word, I have to ask myself when I'm reciting that, am I also in agreement with his word? Am I really Shema Yisrael? Do I perceive, discern, and understand the authority of Elohim in my life? Because if I do and I'm in agreement with his word, then he and I are in unity. Another meaning of echad. And in that, I become achava. Achava means love, but it has a numerical value of 13. And if I have achava, I become Yedodi, his beloved. Right? So let's look at this again now. All right? Has not appeared what we shall be, is what King James says. But We also read, has not revealed to us what we shall be. Is that a truthful statement? Has Elohim revealed to us what we should be? When he created